All right, everyone, let's get going. First of all, good morning. Let's find ourselves a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Feel free to unmute to hit the space bar if you have any questions. So sitting up nice and tall. Begin by finding that connection with the ground beneath you, or if you're in a chair, with the chair beneath you. Feel that support, feeling that connection. And just begin to let go of whatever happened before you stepped on your mat. Allow the eyes to close, relax the hands wherever they happen to land. And just begin to settle into your body, settle into this space. And taking your awareness to the bottoms of your feet, offering them gratitude and invite them to soften and relax. And slowly moving that awareness up through the ankles and the calves, through the large muscles of the legs, and so on towards the crown of your head. Pausing to let the breath explore any places you may be holding tightness or tension. Offer those places compassion and gratitude and invite them to soften and release. Especially notice any places that tension tends to linger, perhaps in your belly region or towards the chest. You may feel a tightness, almost as though there's a knot. And just think about mentally sending some energy to that space, inviting that knotted feeling to loosen. Giving yourself permission to take up space, offering gratitude for this time for yourself this morning. Bringing that awareness to your breath. Notice the belly rise and fall with each inhalation and exhalation. Notice the ribs move in and out. Notice the chest rise and fall. Notice whether your breath has already deepened or whether it feels shallow. Smoothing the edges of the breath. Invite it to lengthen and deepen. Inviting a feeling of openness into your being. A feeling of letting go. At this time where so much is outside of our control, is wisdom to let go of the illusion of having any control at all. Slipping into the flow. One thing you do control to some extent is your breath. Perhaps you may find it helpful to connect with yourself, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and just feel the wave-like motion welcoming each in-breath And letting go of each out breath without judgment. Inviting your awareness to move more deeply inward to that place of stillness and light. Finding the rhythm of your breath. Offering yourself loving kindness. And as you're ready, hands may release into the lap. We're going to exhale and drop the chin towards the floor. And then inhale, roll the left ear towards the left shoulder. If it feels good, continue lengthening through the throat. Bring that breath to fullness. And then exhale, drop the right ear towards the right shoulder, completing the circle, completing that breath. And continue drawing circles, letting the breath lead your nose around in a circle through the air. Or you may find it more comfortable to simply rotate each ear towards its shoulder, letting the chin create U shapes. Whatever feels right to you, let the shoulders soften away from the ears as you let go of anything you may be holding in the neck muscles. Letting the breath lead you. If you're making circles, reversing when it feels right to you. And letting that movement go and bringing the head back to neutral. We're going to take this motion into the shoulders. Inhale and shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, press them back and down. Inhale them forward and up. Really feel this motion originating deep within the shoulder sockets. Reversing that motion when it feels right to you. Letting go of any tightness or tension in the shoulders. And then letting that movement go, I'm going to have you inhale and press down into the floor. Lengthen up through the center line. Think about bringing the crown of the head toward the ceiling. You may feel a nice extension all the way through the spine. Invite some length into the spine, pressing down firmly into the floor as much as your wrists allow, or maybe you could use fists. Almost feel as though your tailbone is about to float off of the floor as your shoulders reach down away from the ears. Crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling, breathing here. And then releasing that any pressure on the hands. Inhale and reach the arms straight out from the shoulders. Again, keeping the shoulder blades neutral down the back. Reaching towards the side walls as you breathe here. Let's exhale completely. And then take a nice deep inhale. Again, feel that length and try to keep it there as you exhale from the belly up, twisting towards the right. Bring the right hand to the left knee as the opposite, or your other way around. Bring the opposite hand to that knee that you're twisting towards. Breathing here, perhaps gazing back over your right shoulder. Face is soft. Nice cleansing twist. And as you're ready, inhale from the belly, untwist, arms come straight out from the shoulders. Let that breath come to fullness. And on the exhalation from the belly up, begin to twist to the left from the bottom vertebrae up, bringing the right hand to the left knee. Breathing here. And inhale back to center, arms out. We're going to exhale. We're going to bring the hands behind the back so that your pinky is at the base of your skull and the pointer finger is right where your shoulders meet the neck. So the arms are straight out, elbows straight out from the shoulders. We're going to inhale and gently lift the chin. You'll feel the fingers move towards each other. They are there to support your neck as you release as much of the weight of your head onto your hands as feels right to you. Chin pointed gently towards the ceiling, supporting your neck with your fingers, your hands. Breathing here, feel that opening across the upper body. Begin to move the elbows back a little bit. Bring the shoulder blades in a little bit towards the spine, opening across the chest. And on your next exhale, gently begin to tilt the head forward, not pulling on the back of the neck, but bring the elbows forward. Move the shoulder blades away from the spine. Just a gentle moving of the face downward. No need to force anything. Really feeling about opening through the back body, bringing the breath into that space between the shoulder blades. Receiving with your breath whatever it is you need to support you today. Noticing any emotions that arise. This can feel more like a surrendering, more of a moving inward of the front body. And then inhale and bring the elbows up, and then exhale, let the hands come down to the floor. And we're going to bring our attention now to the bottom of our body, bringing the feet forward, hands beside the hips. We're going to begin to circle out the ankles. Noticing which direction your ankles are going. If they're going away from each other, switch one so that they're both going in the same direction. Begin to feel, you can feel the tops of the femurs rotating in the hip joints, reversing those circles. And letting that movement go. And keeping the feet active, heels are straight forward from the hips. And let's just because we didn't do it, let's pay attention to our wrists. We're going to bring the hands to heart center and press the hands in towards each other gently. Just feel that connection with yourself. Bring the thumbs to press against your heart center. And set yourself any intention or dedication for this practice that you like, asking yourself, what is it that I need most today? And then as you're ready, we're going to do a little bit with our wrists. We're going to bring the hands away from the chest, just a few inches. Nice deep inhale here, and on the exhalation, we're going to move the elbows away from each other and bring the backs of the hands on the inhale. Bring the backs of the hands towards each other. So now your fingertips are pointing down. Take the next breath, perhaps an exhalation, and then press the palms again. You can link this movement up with your breath any way that feels right to you, whether it's inhaling your hands apart or exhaling them. Doesn't matter as long as it feels right to your body. Just giving the wrists a little bit of a gentle up and down flex. One more time. And then bringing the fingertips apart, we're going to keep the hands, stack the hands and begin to circle the wrists. And reversing. And letting that movement go. You can use the assistance of your hands to bend the knees. We're going to bring the feet to about mat width apart. Bring the hands behind your hips slightly. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Pressing the hands lightly into the floor. We're going to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Go ahead and sync this movement up with your breath, perhaps exhaling to one side as you inhale them back to center or vice versa. And the head can go in the opposite direction of the knees. Taking the time to really invite the hips to alternately externally rotate and internally rotate, feeling a gentle twist in the spine as the hips go in one direction. Perhaps as the head turns, you may feel the shoulders bracing in the opposite direction. And letting that movement go. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together and let the knees drop out to the side. Again, you can have your hands behind you on the hips, behind the hips on the floor, excuse me. Pressing gently into the floor. If you'd like to add a little bit of a heart lift here. As the knees are invited towards the floor through the use of gravity. Breathing here, really feel the chest opening here. Soften the belly. Taking full advantage of the life force that each breath brings in. Next inhalation, knees move up and in towards each other any amount. Then exhale with control, let the knees drop to the floor. Inhale, bring the knees up and towards each other. Exhale, bring them in. And you can do this if you're sitting in a chair. You can bring the feet up towards you on blocks or a couple of books and just move the knees back and forth. And the next time your knees come up, go ahead and the hands can grasp the knees. We're going to bring them behind us and come into an all fours. Knees beneath the hips, hands beneath the shoulders. You may choose to fold the mat or place a blanket beneath the knees or the wrists for padding. And we'll come into some cat-cow movements here. First, exhaling completely, finding your foundation on all fours. And then inhale, let the mid-back move up toward the ceiling, pressing the ground away from you, perhaps the chin and tailbone tuck. Exhale, and the belly moves towards the floor, perhaps the chin and tailbone lift. Just feeling the energy originating at your center and radiating out to both ends of your spine. Washed with the breath. And letting that movement go. We're going to come into a flow here. I'm going to demonstrate first the child's pose, taking a nice inhale. On the exhalation, sink the hips back over the heels as much as is available to you. I'm going to use my left hand. You can use whichever hand is on the inside of the room. So you're facing, whichever side is facing me, doesn't matter. So first coming into a child's pose, and I'm talking about when we start the flow. This is child's pose. with the head down toward the floor. If that's not available to you, feel free to come up onto elbows beneath the shoulders and keeping the hips over the knees. But we're going to come into a flow starting through all fours. I'm going to have you reach forward with that left arm. So this is sort of like a balancing pose, except you've got both knees down and the right arm. Nice deep inhale here. On your exhalation, exhale completely. On your inhalation, I'm going to have you sink back as far as is comfortable with the heels, at the same time sweeping that left hand around in a half circle back, ending back towards the hips, any way that is as much as is available to you. So now you've got your right hand extending forward and the left hand reaching back, or one arm reaching back. On your next exhalation, press into the knees, engage the core, bring that left arm through, forward, reach forward. So the movement is exhale, sweeping around in a half circle at shoulder height, moving the hips back over the heels as much as is available to you. Exhale, moving forward and reaching, almost like you're pulling a rope out to the side. So continuing, letting the breath lead. And if you find you're exhaling as you come back and inhaling as you come forward, that's fine. That's what your body wants to do. And then next time your arm is forward and you're in all fours, pause here. We're going to reverse that motion, maybe exhaling to pull that rope towards you and then reach back towards the hip. Inhale, sweep that arm from the hip forward. Exhale, pull and reach back. Inhale, reaching that arm around in a circle, just like you're making half an angel wing. Perhaps you'd like to make a fist as you're pulling back, just to give the fingers something to do, bit of a flex, and then reaching them forward when you reach forward. And one more time, coming forward, and then exhale, release that left hand down. And we'll just pause here and notice how you're feeling, perhaps coming down into puppy pose, or perhaps coming down into your version of child's pose, whether your head is resting on stacked hands, or whether your head is reaching toward the floor or toward the blanket. Just noticing how you're feeling between the two sides of your body. And think about inviting some length into the lower back, sending the sits bones back towards the back wall. And then as you're ready, we'll come back up onto all fours. Now coming into the opposite arm, happens to be my right. I'll do it sideways so it doesn't look so confusing. I'm going to inhale that arm forward. And on the exhalation, sweep that arm around like half an angel wing, sinking the hips back. And inhale, reach. Exhale, swing it around. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sweep. And the hips may move back and forth over the knees and heels as much as is available to you. And the next time you're forward, pause here and reverse the breaths. Perhaps exhaling, pull that rope back down to your feet. Inhale, sweep the arm around at shoulder height and reach forward. Exhale, pulling. Inhale, sweep. Again, the knees are bending as much as is comfortable for your body. Perhaps you could put a blanket between the ankles and the thighs if you'd like a little more support there. And one more time, reach forward and exhale here. And then we're going to bring one foot forward, doesn't matter which one, tucking the rear toes under. Inhale, the shoulders above the hips, and exhale, press into both feet and coming to standing. Ooh. We're going to take hold of our imaginary kettle spoon, find the feet hips width apart, toes pointing roughly forward, and begin to stir the pot. Begin to feel into your feet. Keeping the knees firm as you do this. Feeling the weight of your body moving around its center of gravity, reversing when you're ready. Finding a focal point on the wall in front of you that's not moving on which to fix your gaze can help you feel into your balance. Finding that sweet spot, which is not stillness, but the average of opposing forces. And letting that movement go. And coming to your feet where you feel an equal distribution of weight between the right and the left foot, and among what's called the triangle of support, pad beneath the heel, pad beneath the pinky, pad beneath the big toe. Let's inhale and take the shoulders up to the ears and exhale and release them down. And then check in with your posture, belly's moving in toward the spine, crown of the head lifts. Tailbone in its neutral position, soften the knees slightly. We're going to soften the knees a little bit more, place the hands on the hips and begin circling out the hips. And reverse when you're ready. And letting that movement go and come into your mountain pose. We're going to step the right foot, I'll say left, but I'm going to do right, so I'll mirror you. Hopefully I can keep this straight. Left foot back. And bringing the arms into a circle in front of your chest as though you're grabbing a tree or holding a big ball. Keep the wrists soft, no need to have them be too tense. Bend into that front knee. So it doesn't go farther forward than the ankle, roughly in line with the second and third toe. We're going to begin some gentle twisting. So inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. On the exhalation, twist in the direction of the front knee. To the right, any amount. Inhale back to center, really feeling this motion originating from your belly and feeling each vertebrae move towards the right in its turn from the bottom up, pausing whenever it feels right to you. Again, no need to force. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. One more time. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. And on the exhale, release your arms down. Let the shoulders release away from the ears. And then inhale, arms float up to the ceiling. Press into both feet. Make sure the shoulders are released into the shoulder blades are neutral position down the back. Feeling length of both sides of the body. And then exhale and hinge towards your right. Breathing here, side bend. And inhale back to center. We're going to then release your right hand down to the front knee and inhale, begin to circle the opposite arm up and back. You may choose to move the back foot, open the hips so that the back foot is more parallel with the back side of the mat. You can see what I'm doing. I'm like this. And reverse. Feel free to follow that arm with your gaze. And the next time that arm is straight behind you, reach. Open up the hips and shoulders towards the front of the room and settle into your warrior two. Turn the gaze back over the front fingertips. Breathing here, reaching gently towards opposing walls, feeling the strength of your legs holding you up. Next inhale, palms turn up, front arm reaches up as rear arm reaches down. Breathing here. And exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front knee. We're going to release on the exhalation, release the arms down, pivot the rear toes to face the front of the mat, and then inhale, stepping forward to the front of the mat. Coming back to your mountain pose. Let's take a moment here to walk the feet together, just so the insides of your feet touch. And place the hands at either sides of your hips. And just feel as though you're rooted into the floor. Feel yourself drawing energy from the ground. And gently pressing each side of your body into the other, just like a seed waiting to sprout. Feeling this connection with all parts of you, cultivating an attitude of acceptance of everything about you, offering loving kindness to yourself. And then feet may move back to hips width apart. And we'll come into that flow on the opposite side, stepping the other foot back, bending into that front knee. Arms come in front, just as though you're hugging a tree. Nice deep inhale to lengthen up, and on the exhalation, twisting towards the left. And inhale back to center. And exhale, twist. Inhale back to center. And continue following your breath. And one more time. Inhale to unwind, exhale, release the arms down, let them be nice and loose. And as you're ready, inhale, let the arms float up any amount towards the ceiling, coming into your warrior one. And as you're ready, next exhalation, reaching up and over to the left. And inhaling back to center. Exhale, drop the left hand to the left knee. Step that right foot back a little bit farther. Perhaps the back foot becomes parallel with the back of the mat. And we're going to begin to circle the right arm with your breath. Let your fingertips be the focus of your awareness. Noticing each moment. Really present with the movement, reversing whenever it feels right to you. And the next time, right arm is reaching back behind you. Pause here and reach. Let the opposite hand float up. Adjust your stance if you need to. Coming into warrior two on this side. Breathing here. Being mindful of any intention or dedication you may have set yourself at the beginning of class. Bringing the strength of the peaceful warrior to bear on making your intention a reality. Palms turn up, inhale, front arm reaches up as rear arm reaches down. And exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front knee. Exhale, release the hands, shoulders away from the ears. And pivot the rear toes to face forward, and then inhale, stepping mindfully to the front of your mat. We're going to come into a balancing pose, so if you'd like to have a wall handy to support you in your balance, feel free. Normally here I would take some recommendations, but since you're all muted, I can't. So I'm gonna come into dancing Shiva. So, finding your foundation on both feet. Take a nice inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. On your exhalation, shifting your weight into your right foot. And come up onto the left toes. We're going to bring one arm, the right arm out to the side. Left arm reaches up. If you're feeling stable, lifting the left foot off of the floor. Softening the muscles of the face. I'm turning a little so you can see what it looks like from side to side. And inhale, reach the arms up. Maybe lift that leg a little bit higher. And then on the exhalation, release. Whoo, shake it out. Finding your foundation now on both feet, equal distribution of weight between the left and the right. We're going to inhale, gathering the mass of your body into your hips. On the exhalation, dumping it down into the left foot, coming up onto the right toes. Let's exhale and soften the shoulders, broadening across the collarbone, finding that focal point on the wall in front of you. As you're ready, let's inhale. Left arm reaches out as the right arm reaches up, any amount. Feel free to soften the elbows any way that feels right to you. Imagine that you're holding a sword in one hand and a lantern in the other, bringing the strength of the sword and the light of wisdom, perhaps lifting those right toes off of the floor. And breathing here. And inhale, reach a little bit higher, press into the standing foot, maybe lift that right knee up, and exhale, release and shake it out. And stepping back onto the mat, feet or mats width apart, we'll find coming to our empty shirt sleeves, lengthening up through the crown, equal distribution of weight between right and the left, and try to keep that lengthen there as you gently begin to twist the torso from side to side. Let the arms flow nice and loose from the shoulders. Perhaps finding your rhythm, begin to lift the heel, opposing the twist. The eyes may remain open or closed as it feels right to you. And gradually letting that movement go and coming back to neutral. We're going to step the feet out into a wide angle now. Have the toes pointing roughly forward. We're going to inhale and reach the arms straight out, coming into a 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. On your exhalation, hinge forward at the hips, just coming halfway down if you have any issues with getting the head below the heart. If it's available to you to get to do that, go ahead and come all the way down. This is comfortable for you. And then we're going to next exhalation, we're going to release the hands to the floor or to a block if you have a couple of blocks or books, and come into elephant, which is simply a wide-legged down dog. Start to walk the hands away from your center line, keeping the hips and the ankles and knees still in alignment so we're not coming forward or back. And just let the head release down as far. You can also do this against a chair. Hold on to a chair. That's why I put it here to demonstrate. Think about inviting that length into the spine as the strength of your legs, a nice stretch in the thighs. Breathing here. And next inhalation, walking the hands back to the center line. Exhale, hands to the hips, and inhale, slowly come up to standing. And then we're going to heel toe the feet in towards each other. We're going to come back down onto the mats. Coming into a seated position. Knees bent, feet on the floor, hips width apart. The hands can be behind the shins if you'd like. We'll come into our Savasana. So inhale, lengthening up, and on the exhalation, begin to lift the legs up and lengthen, opening the knees any amount that feels right for your body. Perhaps reaching the hands forward, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Feel free to keep holding on to the knees if that's more comfortable for you. And breathing here. And then exhale, we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and give yourself a nice hug here, offering gratitude for the gift of yoga today. And then we're going to simply roll over onto our backs. And you can take your time with this if you'd like to take a few rolls from shoulder to hip, giving your back body a nice massage in the vertical direction. Just being mindful not to roll too far back onto your neck. Eventually making those rocking motions smaller and smaller until you come back onto your back. Hands come to the knees. Soften. Let's settle the shoulders onto the floor, onto the mat. So taking our time here, bringing awareness to the feet. Activate your feet just so you know that they're there. They have a role to play at all times. We're going to inhale and bring the knees away from each other, away from the chest, and then exhale them in towards each other and in towards the chest. Nice, slow, big circles with the hips. Feel the warmth and lubrication. Feeling the breath washing through you. Reversing those circles as you're ready. And letting that movement go. This time, having the knees and feet touching each other. So having them as though you've got a zipper between your knees and legs. Shins are zippered together. That's what I'm trying to say. Hands come to the sides. We'll begin to draw circles on the ceiling with the knees. So now the knees are going in the same direction. And reversing as you're ready. And then pausing, bring the knees above the hips, move the arms so that they're more in a T position, a little up higher towards your shoulders. They don't have to be exactly straight up from the shoulders. Nice deep inhale here, really fill up the belly with breath. And then on the exhalation, dropping the knees to the left and let the gaze roll to the right. Keeping that right shoulder anchored to the floor. And breathing here. Softening the belly, softening the face. Next inhalation, engaging your core and moving the knees back to center and the gaze follows. And then exhale, when you're ready, dropping the knees to the right and the gaze rolls to the left. Releasing into the twist. Belly soft. Letting go of the need to have control. And inhale, engage your center muscles, bring the knees and the gaze back to center, bring the hands up toward the ceiling and the knees and begin to circle out wrists and ankles. And reverse. Letting go whatever you have left to let go of. Perhaps gently bicycling arms and legs. Perhaps coming into any pose that your body feels called to do that we haven't done. Perhaps a happy baby. Perhaps simply pausing with the hands and feet up toward the ceiling and let your circulatory system have a break from the usual pull of gravity. And coming out of whatever pose that you've chosen for yourself. Inhale and reach hands and feet up toward the ceiling. And then nice exhale, sigh it out. Let the limbs float towards the ground. And begin to make your body ready for Savasana, relaxation pose, covering up with a blanket or with clothing. Feel free to place a blanket beneath the neck or the knees or on the belly. Feel free to roll over onto one side or onto your belly if that's more conducive to your relaxing. And then bring your awareness to the bottoms of your feet, imagining a warm, healing light of loving kindness suffusing your feet, softening, relaxing through the ankles and the calves, the large muscles of the legs. Feel warmth and loving kindness suffuse your lower body, softening the belly, easing the muscles of the chest and the shoulders. Loving kindness brings warmth and relaxation all the way down each arm to the tip of each finger. Feel that loving kindness warming your face, softening the neck, relaxing the jaw, releasing the muscles around the eyes. Releasing your breath to its natural rhythm. Trusting that you've done all that needs to be done. And knowing that I will be here to call you back. Begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Inviting small movements in, perhaps rocking the head gently side to side, wiggling fingers and toes, circling out wrists and ankles, perhaps reaching the upper arms beside your ears if you're on your back or in a chair, giving your body a nice full stretch. Releasing and relaxing here for a breath or two. Before first bringing one knee into the chest, followed by the other, and making your way to one side, and releasing here for a few breaths. The eyes may remain closed as gradually, in your own way and time, you rise up to meet me in a comfortable seated position. I'd like to offer a short quote from Chris Collin. Impermanence surrounds us. Be awake each moment. Life does not give you breathing room, but if you stop grasping for control of the uncontrollable, you can learn to breathe through it all. Invite a soft smile to play about your lips. Hands may come to heart center. And the eyes may flutter open. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for being here. Namaste.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Great.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Bye.
How's
Thanks,
everybody
Sue.
doing? Good. Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
You
Take care.
too. Thank you.
Thanks, so.
Take care.
I know.
Tomorrow's class at 11:30, same time.
Thank
Same
you.
time, same place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed it. Good.
Good. All right, Julieta, have a good day.
You too.